Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon, gentlemen. My name is Sameer Almarghalani, and I'm from Blue Team. And my friends are Yazeed and Faris. And today is the final presentation for us in this course, Minj 428. And we will present what we did before, and we will talk about our project, which is the snake and scorpion blocker. And what we did, as I said, in this project by using the BMB process. So let's start today with our agenda. We are going to talk about the first thing about the project, the second thing, the project chart and stakeholders, the third thing, the MS project and development approach, the fourth thing, the collect requirements and the project scope and RBS and WBS, and the rest as you see in 5 and 6. So let's move on. Okay, what is the project? As I said before in previous presentations, our project is the snake and scorpion blocker, is to protect humans from snake and scorpions, which they are effect in our life, so we can lose human lives by these animals. This is our project, and our project will, as I said, protect the human from these animals. And for who this project, for people who live in a desert and farm, which the environment that close to these animals, the scorpions and the snakes. What is the duration for this project? The duration for this project was the whole semester for our project, and the goal for this project is to, as I said before, to save human life from snake and scorpions. Okay, next. Okay, the 3 dimensions of our project. The 3 dimensions were before and after and SOS. Before is the device, and the device will generate vibration which will affect on the snakes, and also with this vibration we will have a spray bottle which will be affected on the scorpions, because the snake, they are affected by vibration, and they can live with the vibration in the ground. And also the scorpions, they are affected by the special spray which is made in lab for of course for the scorpions. And also we will use ultraviolet rays to see the position of the scorpions, because the scorpions has the a specific thing in their body, so they are affected by the ultraviolet rays. And the second dimension, which is the after he getting attacked by the snake and scorpions, we did a bump section which will absorb the poison blood from the human. And the last dimension, which is the SOS, there is a device which will send signals to the nearest emergency center, so that they can help the human that got attacked from the snake and scorpions. These are the 3 dimensions for our project. Next, in the future, the method that we will use for implementation for this project, which what we did in this course, the Minj 428. Next. Next with my friend Faris. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Faris Alghamdi, member 1 in Blue Team. Today, inshallah, we'll talk about the project charter. First, the project charter is very important for any project if you want to do, because the project charter must have the high requirement, and the project charter is the per day for any project you want to do. First, in the project charter, first include project purpose. And the second, we have also objective and related success criteria. And also three, the project charter, it should be high level requirement and also high level project description and boundaries and key deliverables. And five, we have overall project risk. And six, we have a summary miscellaneous schedule. And seven, we have preferred venture resource. Eight, key stakeholder list. And nine, have we should have project to prove requirement like a doctor or anything. And 10, we have project exit criteria. And 11, we have a project manager. And the finally, we have a name and other of the sponsor. About the project charter, we have three things including the project charter: input and tools and method about this project charter to get the output for this. The input in project charter, we have a business document. The business document include business case for this, about the benefit manager and include benefit management plan. And two, we should have agreement and factors surrounding the project. And four, we have enterprise operation assist. This about the input for this. About the tools and techniques for this, we should have expert judgment and data gathering. And when data gathering, we use three things about this: brainstorming and interviews and focus groups to collect the data gathering. And three, we should have interpersonal and team skills. We have three things about this: conflict management and meeting management and visualizations. And four, we have meeting. Next, Sameer. This the develop about project charter. We do this first in a word. We do about the needs and the need of the work and Google and the goal and project case. Next. Now, please, Samir, go to MS Project to show our friend the project charter in MS Project. Okay. Here, as you see, in MS Project, we have a project charter. As you see in left, we wrote the project charter about this. And in the title, our name in our project is Snack and Scorpions Blocker. Here we have a need. The need of our project is the need for the component and the approval from coordinator and device symbol for you to use for this project. And also the second thing, the project charter, we have the need of the work. What the need of the work? The need of this project will be made for the people who get attacked by the snack and scorpions. And the goal for this project is saving the humanity. And the particular case, some of the stories that some relative told us. And the project manager, it's me, Faris, the manager. He can change the deciding and control the budget. And the scope of the budget, we have two things of the scope of the budget. Our project will help the people who live in farms. Our desert was Sameer said. And our project will not be helpful that much for the people who lives in cities. And also we have a summary schedule of key events in our project charter. First step, the slide that from our doctor, we get information about it. And the second step, the website, the website have information about snake and scorpions. Down to me, please. And also we have here external assumptions. Is that assumption? We have two things about this: good use of who wears the device, and good soil and external or risk, soil hardness and rocks and high cost. About the budget, the project will cost around 1,005 for reals. The project needs for service are easy to maintain and easy to use and not affected the surrounding environment. And the project boundaries. The boundaries of the project are respected in the place where the many snakes and scorpions live in farmed or desert. Down, please. And also we have a project output, a device that contains a source produced from vibration and that source and something like that and choose and the project limitation. We have three about limitation for this project. Difficulty getting some of the pieces needed for the project, and difficult obtaining a patent, and difficulty creating a electric circuit. Initial organization of the project charter, sponsor coordinator for the for the course, and hunters and international market and scientific sites and project manager and team member. And also down, we have a knowledge primary risk. We have two things about this: is daily operation of the vibrating device, and there is no permanent power source for the device. And key performance indicators we have here. We will test the device on snacks and scorpions to profit. And finally, things in project charter is the most important thing. It's a charter of proofs about our manager and our coordinator, and what we get the stories from who. All we need to think about any think about it from this charter approvals. And thank you. Now we remove to my friend Sameer. Thank you for listening.
Okay, welcome back, guys. Okay, now I'm gonna talk about the stakeholders. First of all, the stakeholders technique has three main things. The first one is the input, the second one, the tools and techniques, and the last one is the outputs. The inputs for our stakeholders, we should have the project charter. Second, the business documents, which include a business case and benefits management plan. The third, we have the project management plan, which including the communication management plan and stakeholders engagement plan. The fourth thing, the fourth input, which is the project documents, and the fifth is the agreements, and the sixth, the interventions environmental factor, which is we call the EFA, and the seventh is the organizational process assets, which is OPA. The techniques and the tools that we have in stakeholders, which is the expert judgment, data gathering, data analysis, and data representation and meetings. For the output that we got from this technique is the stakeholder registers and change requests and project management plan update and the project document update. Okay, let's go next. This chart that represent again the input and the output and also the techniques for our process, which is the stakeholders. As you see here in the left hand side, we will see the inputs, and in the middle, in the blue box, which is the techniques, and in the right hand side, we will see the outputs for our techniques. Okay. We have four definition terms in the stakeholders, which we have to know, which is the power for the stakeholders, which is the level of authority, and the interest of the stakeholders, which is the level of concern about the project outcomes, and the influence for the stakeholders, how much influence do they have over the project, and the last is the impact. How much does the project impact the stakeholders? These are the four terms that we should know about the stakeholders. Next. The stakeholders for our project are the owner, which are represented by Dr.Saeed, Asiri, and these are the contact, how we can contact with him, okay, email and the phone number, and the employees, which are represented by Sameer Almarghalani, and this is the information contact. And the last, we have the government, which is represented by King Abdulaziz University, and these are the information contact. Then we have the column, which is, as I said, the power and the interest and the impact and the influence, which the four terms that we should know about our stakeholders. So we give about the power for the owner, Dr.Saeed, 95, and the interest 95, and the impact 95, and the influence 95, which is the highest mark in these four terms. Because he is the owner, of course, and he should has the highest value. About the employees, the power, we give the employees 45 because they can do any they can give any orders to do in this project. So they has 45. They have 45, and the interest, of course, 95, and the impact 95, and also the influence 95. About the government, the power, they has the power, okay, but not like the owner, of course, and the interest 90%, and the impact 45, and the influence 30. Then we have four questions about the stakeholders. What is the important to the stakeholders for this project? Like the owner, I use the BMP process for this project, and for example, the employees maximize the quality for the work. And the second question is, how could the stakeholders contribute to the project? For example, like the owner supervising the work progresses. And the third question we have, how could the stakeholders block the project? For example, like the employees introduce the work, or in the government complexity of procedures. The last questions, which is the strategy for engaging the stakeholders. For example, for the owner weekly meeting, and for the government update them with information, of course. Then we made the BMB, the BMB said that you have to make a chart which represent the relation between the power and the interest for your stakeholders that you have in your project. For example, here the chart is represented by the power and interest. As you see here, the owner has 95 and the interest 95, which will be here. Will be here, which mean he has the high power and the high interest. So manage closely the owner, and tell him everything that happened in your project. And because he, as I said, he has the higher power and higher interest. For the employees, the power was 45 and 95 for the interest. So they are keep justified because they have high power and lower power and high interest. And the next chart, which is the power and the influence, as you see here, the relation between the power and the influence for our stakeholders. Then we have the relation between impact and the influence for our stakeholders. Okay, now let's go to the MS project and see what we did there. For the MS project, the stakeholders, as you see here, we make a table, and we have the stakeholders in the here in the first column, then the contact person, and then the four terms that I talked about, which is the power and the interest and the impact and the influence, and also the four questions. Yes, that we answered about the stakeholders. Then we made another shape for the stakeholders, which we went to the report and make custom report for the stakeholders, as you see here. Let's move it here. Stakeholders. This is the table that we use in the previous in the presentation, and these are the relations between the 4 terms that we have in our project. Okay, that's all for for me and the stakeholders. Now let's move on and to my friend Yazeed. See you soon. Okay, I'm back, guys. Now I'm going to talk about the MS project. Before my colleague Yazeed start, I'm going to talk about the MS project and explain the agenda chart that we had in our project. So let's move to the MS project. Agenda chart. Okay, as you see here, our agenda chart for our project. Okay, let's go down. Let's minimize this. Okay, these are our project, our agenda chart for this project. Okay, until the closing. So, project charter, basically, is a chart that represents the timeline for your project and the tasks that you have, and producers for each task that you have in your project, and the duration for your project. As you see here in the MS project, we have the task name for everything that we have in our project. For example, in the summary task, which is the starting process, we have the getting approval from Dr.Saeed and also getting approval from the King Abdulaziz University. These are called subtasks, and under subtask we have here, as you see, prepare the project idea, which is called subtasks. These are what we use in our project for the agenda chart, and here, as you see, the procedure for each task, which is which mean that this activity we can't finish until the 4th activity finished. Okay, and sorry, we can't start in activity 5 without finishing the activity 4, and so on. This is how we connect each task to another, and the rest here, as you see here, the resource name and which my friend Yazeed will talk about it. Okay. Okay. And that's all for our agenda chart. Now let's move to my friend Yazeed to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Sameer. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone. My name is Yazeed Ali. I'm going to talk about development approach. Development approach is a description of approach used to develop the product, service, or results. In every project, there are a goal of the project or an end phase of a project, that is a product, service, or a result. The way that we are gonna achieve this last phase is called development approach. There are 2 ways, predictive and agile. Next. Development approach created in the develop project management plan, input to plan scope management, plan schedule management, plan risk management, direct and manage project work, manage project knowledge, monitor and control project work, close project or phase. It's also updated in direct and manage project work, manage project knowledge, monitor and control project work, monitor risks, perform integrated change control. And it is part of project management plan additional and project life cycle. Next. The first way is the predictive methodology, which is also called Waterfall. The predictive methodology focuses on planning and analyzing the projected future in depth or anticipated risks, also known as the Waterfall Method. This methodology relies on an early phase analysis and detailed breakdown features and tasks for the entire development process. In this traditional model, you define standard timelines to complete tasks and dependencies between tasks. This also determines the critical path of a projected completion date. It becomes quite challenging to change the direction of the project if something goes wrong. This method is a little like building a house. The key to success is the groundwork, because your concept is your foundation and you have to stick to it. The team works on one section at a time, and once it has been completed, they move to the next one, and so on. Testing is only carried out once the project has been deployed. As you can see in the drawing in the picture, the tasks are done one by one, and there is no go back, and the testing is just in the finish. So we need to be sure from the beginning. There are advantages of using Adapt Predictive. First, everyone knows that they are in for because of the project size, timeline, and cost are determined from the get-go. Second, everything is documented in detail along the way. So if you're suddenly short a developer, it shouldn't have an impact on the project. Third, detailed documentation makes it easier to improve your project if you plan to do so in the future. Also, however, there are disadvantages of using Waterfall. Once developers complete a section, there is no going back, as you said. You are less flexible and able to adjust to changes throughout, and just even more complex if clients are involved. You might even end up with prolonged deadlines and going over budget. Generally speaking, the classic predictive approach is good when there is a clear and definite picture of the project scope. It is not overly complex, and there aren't too many stakeholders involved, and any that are should go what they are in for. Next, we have talked about the advantages and disadvantages. Go next. Yes, the Agile Method, also known as adaptive project management caters, is that it's focusing on adapting quickly and to changing scope and project reality. As with the Waterfall Method, with this methodology, you still plan, schedule, identify key milestones and dependencies, but this model provides way more flexibility in the path to the end goal, which accommodates changing requirements along the way. Agile was developed as a result of the pitfalls of using Waterfall. As opposed to Waterfall, Agile, as the name suggests, it is a more iterative approach. A project is divided into separate smaller chunks, or collaborative teams are divided to work on sprints separately. At the end of the sprint, they come together to discuss their progress and to work out issues collaboratively. Testing is also carried out at the end of each sprint, rather than in the end of the project, as you said before in the Waterfall, to ensure that fixes are right away. There are advantages of Agile. First, you can adjust and iterate requirements along the way. Second, it's also quite easy to add or delete feature as the project moves along. Third, mistakes are caught and fixed early on. Fourth, client can give input at the end of each sprint rather than wait until the entire project is finished. There are also disadvantages of Agile. This methodology requires a team that is fully committed to a collaborative approach and a skilled project manager that is able to define and assign sprints correctly. Issues with either the team or the manager can doom a project. Agile is best used when client and deliverables know that the scope of the project will change as it moves along, and when rapid production is critical. As you can see in the picture, you can they are separated to a different task. Every team take a sprint. We can go back and we can test every task when we finish it, rather than in the finish phase. Next. Which method to choose? It depends on your project. If your project is not difficult, or it doesn't give you the chance to go back or to test every task, then it's better to go with the predictive method. But if your project is complicated, if you need to go back every time you have too many stakeholders, then it's better to go with the Agile methodology. Next. Collect requirements. Let's talk about collect requirements. Next slide. Let's have an overview first about it. Collect requirements is a process where we document what the customer requires out of the project. The resulting documents should reflect both project and product requirements and should include all stakeholders' expectations. The project success is directly impacted by the efficiency of capturing and managing these requirements. Every stakeholders will have requirements. The success of the project for him is doing the requirements that he requires. Next. Requirements is a condition or capability that must be met or persist by a system, product, service, result, or component to satisfy a contract, standard, specification, or other formally imposed documents. For example, let's say that the government have rules and laws that we should follow. So this requirement, if we didn't go with it, the project is doomed for in the restriction of the government. Let's say another stakeholders have a specific requirements or a specific number that he wants in the project. The whole project is about this number for this stakeholder. If we didn't go along with this requirement, the stakeholder would believe that the project has failed. Requirements include the quantified and documented needs, wants, and expectations of the sponsor, customer, or other stakeholders. Examples of project requirements: organizations, business requirement, project management requirements, project delivery criteria, etc. Next. For the input for the collective requirements, we have the project charter, project management plan, which includes the scope management plan, requirements management plan, stakeholders engagement plan. Third, we have the project documents, which includes assumption log, lessons learned register, stakeholders register. Fourth, we have the business documents, which includes business case. Fifth, we have the agreements. Sixth, we have the EIF, which is enterprise environmental factors. Seventh, we have the OFA. For the tools and techniques, we have judgment, data gathering, which includes the brainstorming, interviews, focus groups, questionnaires, answer phase, and benchmarking. Third, we have the data analysis, which includes document analysis. Fourth, we have decision making. There are two ways to make a decision. First, we have voting. Second, we have multi-criteria decision analysis. Fifth, we have the data presentation, which includes affinity diagrams and mind mapping. Sixth, we have interpretation and team skills, which includes nominal group technique, observation, conversation. Also, we have facilities. Seven, we have context diagram. Eight, we have prototypes. And the output would be requirements documentation and requirements traceability matrix. Next. tools and techniques. For the expert judgment, the expertise should be considered from individuals or group with a specialized knowledge or training in the following topics: business analysis, requirements elicitation, requirements analysis, requirements documentation, project requirements in previous similar projects, diagramming techniques, facilitation, conflict management. All these topics are important to set up requirements, since that requirements are a major thing in the project. Next. We have data gathering. There are 5 ways. First, we have brainstorming, which is a technique used to generate and to collect multiple ideas related to the project and requirements. In the brainstorming, discussion is not allowed. We just put ideas, write it down, and we do not discuss it. Discussion will come in the coming over phases. Next, we have interviews, formal or informal. Approach to collect information from stakeholders by talking to them directly. Interviews is a Q&A, question and answers. It's not like the brainstorming and focus groups. The different that in interviews, one side ask and one side answer. Third, we have the focus groups. In focus groups, everyone is involved. Focus group brings together pre-qualified stakeholders and subject matter experts to learn about their expectations. Fourth, we have the surveys. 5, benchmarking, comparing actual or planned project to identify best practices and unique ideas. In this phase, we get benefits from previous projects from either done by the same company or by other people. We get their experience in this phase. Next. For the decision making, we have voting. It's a collective decision making technique and an assessment process having multiple alternatives with an expected outcome in the form of the future actions. There are 4 names for the voting. There are unanimity, decision that all agree on, or we have a majority, a decision that 50% or more agree on. C, we have the plurality. It's a decision that the largest block agree on, which should be, of course, less than 50%. Or the autocratic or dictators, as they used to call it, that one individual takes responsibility for making the decision. Next. We are also decision making. We have the multi-criteria decision making, a technique that uses a decision matrix to provide a systematic analytical approach for establishing criteria such as risk levels, uncertainty, and evaluation. For example, you have here 4 options: O2 1, O2 2, O2 3, O2 4. We have price, safety, performance, fuel composition, and maintenance costs. Down you have the weights. What we do is that we give numbers from 100 for every column, and we multiply it to the weight. For example, you have 100 for price, we multiply it to the weight is 20%, safety is 100, multiplied to the weight which is 10, performance is 80, multiplied to the weight which is 25%, fuel composition which is 100, we multiply to the weight is 25%, maintenance cost 100 to multiply to 20%. The total is 95. We do the same thing for every O2, and we get the total. We can see that the highest total is O2 1. So the best decision to go with is the best option to go with is O2 1. Second, O2 4. Third, O2 3, and the worst option is O2 2. Next. Requirement traceability matrix. The requirements traceability matrix helps trace every requirement to its source and then prove that was delivered. Takes requirements to business objectives, therapy, confirming their value to the project. It also can trace to stakeholders' requests. The main reason for requirements traceability matrix to identify where is this requirements in our plan, who asked for it, why, which is the reason, which benefits that we can get, so we can have full picture about the requirements. Let's go to the MS project. First, let's go to the requirements documentation. Here are the requirements. We identify the every requirement. We put the stakeholders who ask for it, and the business needs, and the project objectives. For example, we use BMP process. It's a requirement by Dr.Saeed. The business needs is approval of the market requirements and better competition situation. The project objectives is the best practice to achieve what we want in this project. Second, we have maximum quality. Getting the best quality will give us an opportunity to act by team members, employees. Business needs are being attached with the market, and the project objectives is get experience for team members, and go and so on and go so on. Let's go to the requirements traceability matrix. Here we can see that we have an ID and associate number for every requirement. We have the source for it. We have the contact, go to the right. We have the contact information. We have the business needs and project objectives I have talked about. But what is new here is the WBS. Where does this requirements located in the WBS? For example, first we have the getting approval from Dr.Saeed. Second, we have tested the shoes, and it goes on and on. We have also the product design, project development, test cases, where this requirements can be tested if we have done it or not. Finally, we have is it done or not. That's for all for collect requirements. Let's go on to my colleague.
Hello, good evening, everyone again. I'm Faris. Now let's talk about the project scope document. Now we need to talk about the project scope document in general. The project scope statement, sorry, they have seven important things. The first, the objective. We should know the objective about the project scope statement, the project objectives, and second thing, the project scope descriptions. Its meaning about the builds on top of contact from the project charter and the requirement documentation. And the three things is the product expected criteria. It's about the define the expected process and define the criteria for expecting completing product survey or result of the project. And the four things, we have the project direct or indirect. The project direct output of the project, such as the which mean the project or survey or result. And five things, it's project exclusions. It's very important about subtopic, sets stakeholder expectation about what is not a part of the deliverables. And project concerns, it's mean about any constraints that may limit project managers or option to get the work done, and cost constraint, milestone or schedule expectations, contractual or all expected about mentioned here. This can also be listed in separate document and referred here. And the last thing, and finally, the project assumptions. This is about any and all assumptions made with respect to the scope and what may happen if assumptions are proven to be false. And let's talk about the project scope statement about the input and the tools and techniques and the output before we go to the example about the project scope statement in the Word and MS project. The input about the project scope statement, the first important thing is the project charter. Without project charter, we can't do the project scope statement. And the project management plan include about its scope management plan and project documentation. It's very important, and it's include about the assumptions log and requirement documentation, what is it explained to us, and risk register and inter pairs environmental factors and organizational process assist. This is the input about what we include about the project scope statement and the tools and techniques to do in this input to get the output. It's expert judgment and data analysis. Include about it is alternative analysis and decision making. It's multi-criteria decision analysis and interpersonal and team skills. It's include audit of installations. And the five things is a product analysis. What we will get to output about this, we will get the project scope statement, as you see here in slide, and project documentation updates. Updates here, the project document update is very important because we will see now or maybe 10 or 15 minutes what's the update about our budget, and include what it is assumption log and requirement documentation and requirement responsibility matrix and stakeholder register. Before we go to the example, I need to back, please. Before we go to example, I need to told about you what the difference about the project charter and the project scope statement and what the similarity about these two things. The difference about the project scope statement and project charter is the project descriptions and goals and business case and high level requirement and constraints. About the project scope statement is project scope descriptions and assumption logs and descriptions of deliverables. This is the difference about project charter and the project scope statement. But what's the similarity about these two things? The similarity about these two things is two things: requirement transparency matrix, what we get from goals and business case, and define the requirement, what we will get for a high level requirement and deliverables and stakeholders. And as you see here in slide, we have a project scope statement. What means the project title and project leader. I'll go to MS project to see this example and explain it in details. Yeah, this the project scope statement we'll do in MS project. First, let's talk about the project title. The project title here, snack and scorbins broker. And we have also the project leader, it's me, Faris, and also what's the project aim and purpose. It's the aim of the project to prepare and generate to the goals who people lives in Faris and desert and save him from the scorpions and snakes. And what the project objective, a device that contains vibration emitted in the ground and also ultraviolet rays with the supreme kit. And the out of the scope, there are some realities that are not affected by vibration and ultraviolet rays. Maybe some animals we don't focus about it. And the benefit about this, the benefit that you will get from the project that will be no loss about the human and save the humanity. What we said about the project charter, this the something is similarity from these two things. And what the research or preface, we get the idea from it. The project which has been worked on the all efforts and whose idea was extracted from IE 201 from Dr. Umar al and equality and diversity, the group that will benefit from this project in which we target our farms when some people live in farm or desert. We focus about this group lives in this area. And thank you for listening. Now let's move to my teammate Sameer.
Okay, gentlemen. Hello again. Let's continue and to discuss the work breakdown structure, which we call WBS. First of all, what is the work breakdown structure? Um, Work breakdown structure is subdividing the major project deliverables and the project work into a smaller part, more manageable component. Because when you work with a small part, it's going to be more easier than you are working with small parts. And as you see here, and before we go to the WBS for our project, I want to talk about the input for the WBS and the tools and the output for this part. The input for the WBS is the project management plan, okay? And the second thing is the project document, and the third thing is the if, which is we call attributes and environment factor, and the fourth thing is the OPA, which is the organizational process asset. The tools and the techniques are two parts, which the first one is the expert judgment, and second thing is the decomposition. The output, we will get the scope baseline, and the second thing, the project document update. These are the inputs and the tools that we are going to use, and the inputs for the WBS. As you see here, the WBS for our project, okay, this is the example for our project. Okay, now let's move to the to see the WBS for our project in the MS project. Okay, as you see here, this is the WBS code for which is we can make it in MS project. Okay, and here the work breakdown structure for our project and the WBS dictionary, which describe each activity, each part that we have in our project. For example, we have here the project name, okay? Then the starting process, which is the first part, and including the starting process, we have two activity, which is getting approved from Dr.Saeed and getting approved from King Abdulaziz University. And the second part in the snake and scorpion blocker project, which is a designing process. Then we have the simulation process, which include shoes simulation and SolidWorks. We will use the SolidWorks to make a simulation for shoes to make sure that the shoes is safety, and the vibration device simulation in SolidWorks also, and electric circuit simulation in every circuit, which is a special program for making electric circuit. Then we have motor simulation in SolidWorks also. Then the fourth part, which is the manufacturing process, and under the manufacturing process we have many parts like swing shoes, manufacturing the vibration device in a 3D printer, and the manufacture the motor, also swing the bag which that will carry the electric circuit and any sensitive device. Okay, the manufacturing bottle in a 3D printer, and manufacturing the box, and also in the 3D printer, which will carry the electric circuit. Then we have the assembly process, which including connect the electric circuit to the power source and holding the electric circuit and the box, and these are the rest. And the sixth part, which is testing the process. Of course, we should test every element that we have in our project to make sure that it's working. Then we have the closing process or closing phase. And here, as you see, as I said before, the description for each task that we have in our project. For example, design the shoes in SolidWorks, a special shoes design that fits the tools that will be placed on it. And these are the rest of the description dictionary, WBS dictionary for our project. And that's all for the WBS. And here, WBS dictionary, as I said, explained before. Now let's move to my friend Yazeed to talk about his part.
Thank you, Sameer. Hello again. My colleague Sameer have talked about the work breakdown structure and work breakdown structure tasks. Every task have activities. Activities are for achieving this task. What is defined activities process? In order to complete a project, a certain set of activities must be performed by the project team members. Defined activities is a process of identifying and documenting the specifications to be performed to produce the project deliverables. As we mentioned before, there are tasks. Every task have activities to be done. It's more detailed. The defined activities is more detailed than WBS. Next. Here we have the inputs, project management plan, which includes schedule and management plan, scope baseline. And we have the if and over, we have talked about it. There are tools and techniques, for example, expert judgment, decomposition, rolling and wave planning meetings. The output will be the activity list, activity attributes, milestone list, change requests, project management plan update, schedule baseline, cost baseline. Next. Expert judgment expertise should be considered from individuals or groups with specialized knowledge or training in the following topics: business analysis, requirement selection, requirements analysis, requirements documentations, project requirements and previous similar project, diagramming techniques, facilitation, conflict management. Next. Decomposition is the primary tool for the process of create WBS and project scope management. Decomposition will break down deliverables into small enough components to be considered as a work package. The work packages are then used to work efforts, costs, and time estimation. The work packages will need to be further decomposed into activities and then task later on for more accurate time estimation with activity sequencing. What we are saying here that we have to break down the breakdown structure, the work breakdown structure. We need to break it down more until we get to the more details, the very small details of how the work is done. Next. Rolling wave planning is a project management technique that involves progressive elaboration to add detail to the work breakdown structure on an ongoing basis. Shorten time by making it possible for productive activities to begin without waiting for every detail of the project work to be determined in advance by limiting down time for additional planning in the middle of a project, since the planning is done continuously. Next. Activity list. The activity list is simply a place to log all the activities. The list presents the activity number or identifier, the name of the activity, and a detailed description of the activity. The activities should be of a size and complexity that allow them to be reliably estimated. The responsibility for the activity should be clear cut. The responsibilities are will be talked about in the last matrix, where we separate the work of the activities among every member. Third, the activity should be measurable. Next, activity attributes. Specific components of a particular activity are known as activity attributes. And the beginning, they are typically descriptive factors related to the specific activity, but they can also describe activities that will become more relevant later in the project timeline. Most activity attributes can be organized, sorted, and summarized. This happens based on a few specific categories. A few of the categories for activity attributes are activity codes, the specific people involved and the activity, locations for the activity, the time and cost required for completion, etc. It helps organize the activity attributes into similar categories. Next. Milestone. Milestone is an event in a project that is a benchmark in the project. Milestone will have a 0 duration. No resources assigned. It will be used as benchmarks to measure progress. It's in the plan. There are a main phase that is 0 duration. If we get there, we know that we have done this and this and this. We have achieved this and this. It's like an organized for the plan. Associated with external constraints, there are two types of milestones. Time and importance, like mandatory and optional. Next. For example, for our project approval, it's mandatory. Requirements review, mandatory. And final approval, it is also mandatory. These are the milestones. When we get to the project approval, for example, we know that we are done with the planning and the approvals and the paperwork. Requirements review, we are done with the stakeholders engagement and all what is related to, and the final approval is a milestone that we know that we are finished the project. Next. Then there are the RAS matrix. After we identify the activities or separated the responsibilities among team members, there are RAS stand for responsible, accountable, consultant, consult, and informed. In every activity, go back. In every activity, they are accountable. Who is accountable for the activity and will be asked about it. They are responsible, consulted, and informed. For every activity, there are one accountable, and it is not asked to be one responsible or one consultant or one informed. The most important member is the accountable. Let's go to MS project. Activity list. Up. Activity list. Yes. This is all the activities with the duration, start and finish. We have, I believe, more than 100 activity for every task. My colleague Sameer has put. We have activities that help us to reach this task. Let's go to activity dictionary. Here they have the activities with the description of the activity. It is in detail, so no one will be so everyone will have a full image of what he is about to do, what everyone is about to do. These are more important to agree with all team members about what this means and what does that do to our project, etc. Let's go to the RASI matrix. RASI up. Yes, here we have all the activities, but with the people who are responsible. Then we have Faris, Sameer, and me. We can see that every activity have one accountable who will be asked about it and finish. Like for example, we have prepare the project idea. The accountable is Faris. Me and Sameer are responsible Second, we have discussed the idea with team members. Responsible is Faris, accountable is Sameer, me responsible. We can see that we don't need to consult or informed in every time. Consult what we have worked, what we have agreed to do is when the task, when the activity is not that difficult, we put one accountable and one responsible to help him, and one consultant to be asked when needed. But if the activity is difficult and requires a lot of work, we put one accountable and two responsible. That's all for the RAS matrix. We go to my colleague Sameer in resource breakdown structure, plan resource management.
Okay, hello again. Now I'm going to talk about the resource breakdown structure, which is RBS. RBS, the input for these techniques are the project management plan, which including resource management plan and scope baseline, and second, which is the project document, which including the activity attribute and activity list that my friend Yazeed explained for me. Session log, and we have the cost estimate and resource calendars and the register. And before the last, the attributes environmental factor, which is IFA, and the OBA, which is the organizational process assist. The tools and techniques, we have 7 techniques. The first one, expert judgment. Second, bottom-up estimating. Third, analogs estimating. 4, parametric estimating. 5, data analysis, including alternative analysis. The 6, project management information system. And the 7, meeting. For the output, we have the resource requirements and the basic of and second, the base of estimate, and third, resource breakdown structure, and the fourth, project document update. And as before we go forward for our resource breakdown structure, I want to define the resource breakdown structure after we know the input and techniques and the output for this process. Resource breakdown structure is the estimate activity resource process of estimating the type and the quantities of material, people, such as people, equipment, or suppliers are required to perform each activity. This basically the resource breakdown structure. And as you see here, let's go next. This is the example for our resource breakdown structure, and let's move on to the MS project to see it clearly. Where is it? RBS, okay. Here, as you see here, the resource breakdown structure. Here, the resource breakdown structure, we have the project name, then we have the first part, which is the people, and then we have the equipment that we are going to use in this project, and software, what kind of software that we are going to use, and the facilities and the materials. For the people, for sure that we are going to need mechanical engineers, an electrical engineer, and a driver for to deliver any part that or getting any part that we need from any kind of shops. Then we have the expert in 3D printer, because we don't know how to work with the 3D printer, so we need the expert, and tailorer for the bag and the shoes, of course. Then we have the equipment such as the laptop, the SO device, breadboard that we are going to use, an electric circuit, then the connecting wires, power bank for the SOS device, and also for the vibration device, then the knives and snake and scorpions. These are these tools for for testing our device. Okay. Then we need the smartphones. Software, what kind of software that we are going to use, SolidWorks, every circuit, MS project, and Zoom for making meetings, facilities, manufacturing site, meeting room, material, steel, 1040, which is the commercial steel, and it's available in every market. And also we need the rubber and strings and plastic wires. That's all for our resource breakdown structure. And now let's move to my friend Faris.
Hello again. Good evening, everyone. Also, I'm Faris. Now, let's talk about the budget. The budget is very important for know what is the our cost in all project or professional project. First, we should find the limit recyclations. The difference between financing a limit and planning expended in the intelligence. We have three difference about it. First, state representation in some case, and second, determine the expense rate, and third, setting time limits imposed for work in the project controls. Okay, now let's talk about the budget and what's the divided in and how to make the budget analysis. First, you should know what the activity estimate. This is the most important point because if you know the activity estimate, we can go to the second things. It's a work page estimate. This activity estimate is some about the work package estimate, and then we know if we know the activity estimate, the first thing we go to work package estimate as I said, and then we go to control account estimate. And we, if we finish the control account estimate, we can get the project estimate, and then we can go to contingency reserves, what the constraint about it, and what the reserves maybe put some money for in this part. And also, when we finish the contingency reserve, we go to cost performance baseline, and we should know the cost performance baseline should be the same price and contingency reserves, because if there are different price from this, we have a problem for budget analysis. And then we go to management reserves, and finally we get the project budget. And then also we know to it's the project budget is the same price about the management reserve. And now we will go to the MS project to see our budget in MS project. Yeah, budget up, third one. Yeah. Okay. Here we have what's the budget in MS project. First, we have a task name about each active list we do in our project, and we have the resources name, who people do this task name, and we talk about who people do this the task name about the price, because now I talk about the budget and price. With this me and Sameer and Yazeed, we put all the money in each task we put it here, and we have actual cost and with the work complete. Why the work complete here is 46? Okay, I will answer this question. Please, Sameer, go down. Go down in manufacturing. In manufacturing. Or stop in manufacturing. Yeah, here in manufacturing, stop 65. Manufacturing process. We do all the work complete until the applied in on solid work. And if, when we go to manufacturing process, we stop here, because in this course we should not do this in manufacturing and in real life to get this project or this the choose and vibration and electric circuit. in real life. And this our budget in NMS project. Now, Sameer, please go to resources sheet about also NMS project. Yeah, it's down, 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 down. Yeah, resource sheet. Here we have a resource sheet. No, no, go on Gantt chart. Go on, yeah, put okay, okay, yeah, go on Gantt chart here. Yeah, we have what is the resources names about this project. It's me and Sameer and Yazeed. We will do this to each person put it, we calculate it in MS project, and we will get it each person in mathematical in MS project, put it maybe 1.2 reals to all our budget money. And that's all about the budget. Thank you for listening. Now let's go to my friend Yazeed.
Thank you, Faris. Hello again. I'm going to talk about plan communication management. The plan communication management is a plan. The plan communication management is a plan that put it in to have to set up the channels and who and how the communication is gonna be. Communication is delivering ideas between two sides. We have, let's say, we have either an idea or a paper that I want to deliver to the other person. If there are channels that should the idea or the paper that goes through it to the other guy. Next. There are communication dimensions. There are 8 of it. First, they are internal, focus on stakeholders within the project and within the organization. They are external, focus on the external stakeholders such as customers, vendors, other projects, organizations, government, and the public, the environmental. Also, they are formal reports, formal meetings, both regular and meetings, agendas and minutes, stakeholders briefings, and presentations. There are also informal communication dimension, which is general communication activities using emails, social media, website, and informed discussions. We have also the hierarchical focus, the position of the stakeholders or group with respect to the project team will affect the format and content of the message. And in the following ways, there are 3 ways in the hierarchical focus. They are upward, senior management stakeholders. They are downwards, which is the team and other who will contribute to the work of the project, and they are horizontal, peers of the project manager or team. 6, we have the official, which is annual reports to regulators or government bodies. Unofficial communications that focus on establishing and maintaining the profile and recognition of the project, and building stronger relations between the project team and its stakeholders using flexible and often informal means. Finally, we have written and oral, verbal words or voice inflections, and non-verbal body language and actions, social media and website media releases. Next, we have the 5 C's. What is the 5 C's of written communications? Correct grammar and spelling, concise expression and limitation of excess words, clear purpose and expression directed to the needs of the reader, coherent logical flow of ideas, and controlling flow of the words and ideas. For the sessional communication skills, we have 4 sessional communication skills. First, we have the listening actively, staying engaged with the speaker and summarizing conversations to ensure effective information exchange. In this way, we can make clear that the idea delivered is the same idea that was sent from the other guy, that the decoding was right. Second, we have the awareness of culture and the person differences. Developing the team's awareness of culture and personal differences to reduce misunderstanding and enhance communication capability. Due to different cultures, different views, different personalities, of course, there will be different thinking, different minds between different people. This might cause poor understanding. So we need to have awareness of it. Third, we have identifying, setting, and managing stakeholders' expectations. Negotiating with the stakeholders reduce the extensions of conflicting expectations among the stakeholders community. Finally, we have enhancement of skills, enhancing the skills of all team members in the following activities: pursuing, motivating, coaching, negotiating, resolving conflicts. Next. These are the inputs of communication management plan, communication management, project charter, project management plan, resource management plan, and stakeholder engagement plan. Third, you have the project documents, which includes the requirements, documentation, stakeholder register. Fourth, you have the E5, you have the OPA. Tools and techniques, extra judgment, communication requirements analysis, communication technology, communication models, communication methods, interpersonal and team skills. We see communication skills test, political awareness, cultural awareness. Seven, you have the data representation, which is stakeholders engagement assessment matrix. And finally, you have meetings. The output would be a communication management plan, project management plan updates, stakeholder engagement plan, project document updates, which includes project schedule and stakeholder register. Next. The communication method, we have the interactive communication. The communication is a multi-cultural exchange of information between 2 or more people. Example are meeting, phone calls, video conferencing, etc. We have also push communication. This is information sent out to all who should receive it. It includes letters, memos, reports, emails, etc. And bulk communication, here information is posted somewhere where stakeholders can go and access it with when they want. For the communication channels, there are a formula which is n multiplied to n minus 2 divided to 2, minus 1 divided to 2. Now, n is the number of people. In our project, we have 3 people. So for our project, we have 3 channels. Next. Now we have a communication technology. There are factors that have effect. For example, the immediacy of needs for information. Sometimes we need information right now, so this would affect the communication. Second, we have availability of technology. Third, ease of use. Fourth, we have environment of the project. Fifth, we have the sensitivity and confidentiality of the information. Next. For our project, we use all three methods. For example, for the interactive communication, we use Zoom meetings. For the bullet communication, we have the course group. For the push communication, we have the team group. So interactive communication, we meet in Zoom and we interact. For the bullet communication, the Dr.Saeed put all the information we need in the course group, and we have to bullet from there. And for our team members, we put all the information we found or we think it's important in the team group. So we push it in the team group. Next. Let's talk about the plan risk management. Next. Plan risk management is the process of defining how to conduct risk management activities for a project. It ensures that the degree, type, and visibility of risk management are proportionate to both risk and the importance of the project to the organization and other stakeholders. The inputs in the plan risk management project charter, project manager plan, which include all components. Third, we have project document, which includes stakeholder register. We have the if and over, tools and techniques, extra judgment, data analysis, stakeholder analysis, meeting, and the output would be the risk management plan. Next. Risk attitudes. We have 4 risk attitudes. First, we have risk seekers, which organization likes to seek a risk if they see an opportunity, young startup or dynamic companies. These are high risk opportunities, but also it gives a high effort if it works. We have the risk affairs, which organization is not comfortable with the decisions and risk, not supportive towards risk, which means that the organization will not support any risk, will not take any risk, and will go as low risk as they can. We have a risk tolerant, who are very comfortable with ignoring risk. They don't care and never pay any attention to the risk until it becomes an issue. Finally, we have a risk neutral, are neutral to risk. They deal with the risk objectively, use EMV on the decision, tree analysis to analyze risk. All these 4 attitudes are useful in the right time and in the right way. Some risk we need to take, some risk we need to avoid. Some risks are not that important, so we can ignore until the time comes to solve it. Next. We have a factor determining risk attitude. We have the risk appetite, which is the degree of uncertainty an organization is willing to take on an anticipation of a reward. Second, we have risk tolerance, which is a degree, amount of or volume of the risk that an organization will fund. Third, we have risk threshold, which is the amount of risk that an organization is willing to accept. Next. We have the risk breakdown section in project management, which put the risk breakdown section in phases and in the groups, so that we know that this risk is coming from this area or from this requirement from this task or whatever. So we can locate the risk. Next. This is how the risk breakdown structure. We'll talk about it later. Next. We have the probability and impact table. As you can see, very high, high, medium, low, very low. It's related to the probability, time, cost. Probability, for example, very high is more than 70%, time 7 months, cost 5 million. So this is very high and very would affect the project very badly. Next. This is another table, so probability and impact matrix. We have probability.
Okay, maybe there is some connection bad for Yazeed. Okay, I will continue. Here are plan risk management, probability, and impact matrix. We have also here probability and threats and operations, what Yazeed said. Let's go to NMS project to see this in details and good view. Okay, go to risk breakdown structure. Yeah, here we have the risk breakdown structure as we see here. We have a project risk. It's external or environment and resource variability. And here we have a level. If the risk is low, we get the green color. Maybe here 0.01, or and maybe if the risk is higher than green, we get the yellow and orange, and finally we get the red one. And go to risk register, please, Samir. In gently chart, yeah. Risk register down here. Yeah, here we have the risk register. First, maybe for example, we get the project purpose and need is not well defined. The purpose is 3 and the impact is 5 and the risk level is 15. The risk severity is very high, and the respond about it, we should avoid this risk. And some and the project design and development definition in and complete. The probability is 2, the impact is 5, and the risk level is 10. The risk reserve is median. Also, we need to avoid this. Maybe we got some example about 13. Financial condition, the probability is 3, the impact is 2, the risk is 6. Is the medium, but the response about this, we need to transfer from this. And now go to presentation. Yeah, we here we have the finally things we will talk about. It is the exhausting. The exhausting is what we need to do in real life. We have here work performance data and project management plan document updates and deliverables and defect repairs and prevent actions. We will go back to Yazeed to explain the MS project better than me. Okay, Yazeed, continue.
Thank you. Let's go to the MS project. Go to the risk register. Here we have the all risk. We have what more than 16 risks. We have the probability, impact, and the risk level, risk severity, and the response. For example, for the first risk, we have the probability 3. The impact would be 5. The risk is a project purpose and need is not well defined. So the probability is 3, impact is 5. Risk level is the impact multiplied to the probability. We can see that the severity is high. If it is more than 14, it is high. If it is between 7 and 14, it is medium. If it is less than 7, it is low. Second, we have, for example, the project design and deliverable definition is incomplete. The probability is 2, but the impact is so high, it is 5. The risk level is 10. The risk severity is medium. And so to go on and on. Let's go to the risk breakdown structure. Here we have the risk separated to external, internal, or external separated to environment, market. Internal is separated to organization and management. The difference between risk register and the risk breakdown structure. In risk breakdown structure, we put it in groups. We put it in phases. We have different types, as we can see. So we can locate what is the risk, why this is risk, and what is related to it. We also put the level. For example, we have the resource availability. This is an environment risk. It is 0.01. Second, we have violating government rules and laws. The level is 0.08. It is yellow. That means medium, and goes on and on in every risk. Thank you. We'll go back to my colleague Faris.
Yeah. Thank you, Zaid. And let's continue about the exhaustion and the final things what we'll do in our project. We said this, we have the work performance data and project management plan, document update and defect repairs and approved change request and so on in exhausting. Next, please. The exhausting, we have here 3 what we talking about each important point. We need to talk about the input and tools, techniques, and output. The input in executing, we have project management plan, include any component, and project documentation include change log, lesson learned register, milestone list, project communication, project schedule, requirement transmittal matrix, what is it said, and risk register and risk report. And third, we have approved change request and interface environment factor organization process assist, and the tools and techniques. And this each we talk about it and details, expert judgment and project management information system, and the finally meeting. And the output we'll get from executing is deliverables and work performance data and issue link and change request and project management plan update and project documentation updates and the 7 organization process is this update. Next. And here the executing, we will understand what the important team do if in any project. We have here 5 things: first forming, and second storming, and norming, and performing, and adjourning. The forming here, it's mean the team expect and preferred and members are trusted as strangers. Storming, members start to communication to other to discover the feeling about what the view in any members. And norming, people feel part of the team and realize that can achieve work with expect other viewpoint. And performing, the team works in open and trusting atmosphere where flexibility is the key. And as we see in here in blue team, we go to performing. And the finally adjourning, inshallah we will get it after the final exam. The team conduct and assist of the year and implement a plan for the translating rules and regarding members contributions. And next, Sameer. And here this the descriptions for the leader. Each leader should maybe have some of things. Maybe the leader is collaborating, problem solving. Maybe the leader it's maybe the forcing and directly. Maybe the leader is compromising. Maybe the leader is smoothing. Maybe the leader is other withdrawing, avoiding. Maybe the leader some point should be go in the direct and should be go the details about the smoothing with our other members. And next, Samir. And when we finish the executing, we go to M and C. It's the meaning in Arabic, al-irsad wa al-tahakkum. Also, we have here the input and tools and techniques and the output. The input here is project management plan and project documentation and work performance information. And as shown in the input and the tools techniques, we talk this is 2 times. And the output you'll get it here is the work performance report and change request and project documentation updates. And next. Here the mathematical, what we do in our project to see the flow chart, what will be happening here. Maybe if we need to budget the baseline, it's PAC, and the PF is planning value baseline, and the total PF equal BAC, and the actual cost will show you in MS project, and EF actual is the real value. And what we need to determine the schedule variance, it's EV minus PF, and the cost variance is EV minus AC. And this the flow chart is very important to get the idea. After we extracting, we have in the y-axis the cost, and the x-axis is the time. We have here the actual cost is the green line, and earning value is the yellow line, and blend value is the purple line. And as you see here, the risk is measured between management reserve and schedule slip. Next, please. Here we have the closing after we finish all the project and we do all the project at the all. We do in the first, we do the project charter, project scope statement, project management plan, project documentation, business documentation, everything we do here about these techniques, expert judgment, data analysis, documentation analysis, and meeting finally, and we get the output from here. We get the project documentation update and the final product, our survey and our result. We have here the final product. If we do this in real life, and organizational process is update what we do here about the budget, about the change the cost. Thank you all for listening. This all what we do in presentation and what we do in MS project, and also here in YouTube. Thank you all. Thank you, Yazeed. Thank you, Sameer. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, guys, and Ramadan Kareem.
Allah.
And have a nice holiday. Thank you.